What's up guys, Houndish here, and today we are jumping into Destiny 2 with some news updates. Clarification about some of the upcoming content this season, but also Bungie respond to some big community concerns, not so much with answers just yet, but apparently Bungie are going to have some things to say about the health of D2 and their plans moving forward, so we'll touch on that. And we've got some extra details about the Grandmaster Ordeals, as well as data mines that suggest there could be a catch-up mechanic for the new Ordeal title. And then we'll discuss some seasonal content stuff as well, a possible secret bunker, some quest content, new glitches, and more inside of the videos. So, guys, as always, I hope you enjoy this one, and if you do, a rating below really helps me out. But now, let's get into it. First up, it is safe to say that the community response to the new season has definitely been rough in places, and there are quite a few issues in the game, and ongoing player frustrations. Of course, some of them are new, but many of them are things that have been spoken about for quite some time. And a couple of days ago, a player on the Bungie forums said, "Please give us a meaningful TWAB. This season has really broken my heart as a die-hard Destiny 2 player." And initially, because this was before This Week at Bungie a couple of days back, DMG said this week's TWAB will not have specifics on how numerous items of feedback will be addressed. And it points out that they're nearing approval on some action items for trials, some of which they've previously noted in TWAB. But he goes on to say, "It sucks that things take time. Many of us wish we could turn around after a day or so and say, here is exactly what we're doing, how, and when we expect it to drop. But rushing fixes could lead to more problems that could further impact your enjoyment of the game, and band-aid fixes could address feedback in the short term, but lead to development issues in the future. We want to make Destiny 2 the best it can be, and we don't want to break hearts, as noted by the OP. We want to create places that inspire friendship. Quite a bit of Destiny 2 content still shines for new players, but this is the important line right here. But we have work to do for those that have been around for the long run. We hope to have plans to share with you soon, and we'll be loud and clear when we do." And Cosmo adds that they're still working on plans to share on how they plan to address some of the community's major concerns. So the interesting thing here is the language that the community managers are using. As Cosmo said, sharing info on how we'll look to address major community concerns. So perhaps a bigger conversation about some of the key game issues is on the way. And I think a thing to consider here, looking back to last year and previous years, but with last year as the example, Bungie announced Shadowkeep, but this happened very shortly after Season of Opulence launched, and so you never know, it's entirely possible that a similar thing could happen this year. As we discussed a few days back, Cosmo indicated that seasonal content is still Bungie's plan for regular updates, but as we know, we also discussed that Bungie are still hiring an assistant game director, where the responsibility is to work largely on sizable annual expansions for Destiny 2, and that does tell us somewhat expectedly that yes, we should absolutely be getting bigger annual drops still, and that would include one this year, but they even point out the requirement for that director to be working on fall expansions to set the stage for a year of season content. So these are all things to consider, because given the dev timeline, I'm sure we'll see Bungie address and update some of the things that we find frustrating, but for the bigger shifts in the game, as we've seen in the past, the larger annual expansion really is probably going to be the place where we get most of the changes that we really want. But nonetheless, I will keep you posted. As DMG said, they hope to have plans to share with the community soon on some of the broader concerns about the game, which is definitely a response of sorts, right? So give us your thoughts about that in the comment section, but also your general thoughts on Destiny 2 as it stands at the moment. Now, in the Bungie update video on Thursday, we spoke about the reveal for the Grandmaster Ordeal, and this once again was another element where there was a ton of feedback, especially about some of the rewards and reasons to actually play that. But initially, on the subject of the title, the Conqueror requirement does say complete all season of the worthy Grandmaster triumphs, but Cosmo went ahead and confirmed that this will still be available next season, similar to the Flawless title, so it will be a case of completing all of the required strikes, or all of the requirements in general, inside of one single season, but it doesn't have to be this season. Players also asked, is Grandmaster going to be 1050 or 1060, since the TWAB and in-game powers are different? And of course we can preview Grandmaster difficulty in the game, currently at 1060, but Cosmo did confirm once again that that power is being adjusted to 1050. And additionally, contest mode for Grandmaster Ordeals will persist into future seasons, so that's going to mean that future power gains aren't going to make it any easier. Very interesting though, on the subject of the Grandmaster seal, Jinsa did tweet, "Don't worry about missing a strike for the Conqueror seal. At some point in time, all 6 Grandmaster strikes will be available for selection." So this is based on a text line in the game. We can see all Grandmaster strikes open. Fall behind in the quest for the Conqueror seal well, you can now attempt any Grandmaster strikes that you want. And as Jinsa points out, if this is to be a thing, then it technically means you won't need to log in every week and can wait until the strike selection is available and do it all in 1 week. Or of course in a single day, but we should point out that with something like this, it isn't confirmed by Bungie. And it's also possible that Bungie could have it as a kind of variable modifier. In case the engagement for those strikes is really low or something, it could very much be an optional thing that Bungie turn on later in the season if they feel that it's necessary, but it's something to bear in mind and it will be interesting to see whether it happens. However, I would say that if you want to make sure you get the title within this season, absolutely unlock them week over week just in case this isn't a thing. Now, for those Grandmaster rewards, they have been a key focus for the mode, and there has been a fair amount of disappointment about the fact that we essentially just get the next level of difficulty, right? It makes sense. Again, increased masterworking materials and exotic drops. I think players had maybe hoped for some exclusive drops or significant loot buffs, additional loot pools, stat increases, more god rolls, XP, who knows? It feels like there would have definitely been additional things that Bungie could have done even if it didn't come down to exclusive drops, which, you guys know me, would absolutely be my preference, but as a recap of the specific strikes needed for the title according to the database, it lists Inside Terminus, Exodus Crash, the Arms Dealer, Warden of Nothing, Broodhold, and Tree of Probabilities, all needing to be completed on Grandmaster difficulty inside of a single season. To pick up Conqueror. Also, some of you guys asked about the Cade 6 icon that originally showed up next to the Grandmaster title. Absolutely no idea why Cade 6 was present on the badge. At the launch of the season, the icon also had the champion symbols on it next to Cade. Suddenly kind of bizarre there, and I wonder if we will finally get a Hunter Vanguard again in the near future. But that of course is a separate thing and we'll have to wait and see. But give us your thoughts once again about the Ordeal, the rewards, and those new bits of info below. We do, however, have some other content beats coming though, so Guardian Games will likely get a small reveal next week, or at least we'll get some details about how the event will work. It will be launching on April 21st the following week. And the event will at least eventually deliver us the new exotic machine gun, the Heir Apparent, and that features Heavy Slug Thrower. And you use that perk to spin the weapon up. The weapon can only be fired when fully spun up, and then it has Armor of the Colossus, and while at full health, spinning up the weapon protects you with an arc shield. It'll be neat to try that thing out, although it is an event exotic, so probably acquired through currency and unlocking triumphs and things like that as opposed to an elaborate quest. But moving beyond that, we've also spoken about the leaked reprise shotgun returning from Destiny 1, as well as the end of the season and how the Almighty story will actually wrap up. An interesting addition to note though is that currently, in-progress trackers on Ishtar Commander or various other apps are actually showing up a 4th Warmind bunker listed with rank progress, so none of these bunkers are actually named per location when they show up in the database, but from the image that Kevin sent on Twitter right here, we can see progress on the 3 currently available bunkers, as well as a big fat 0 showing up next to a classified vendor of the same type. And so it is possible we'll get a 4th bunker of some sort. It absolutely doesn't confirm it, but kind of like with the Tower Obelisk back in Season of Dawn, it's possible that there is an extra one which comes into play later on. But it could also be the case that this is for Rasputin himself, or alternatively, a hidden bunker which could feature in part of the upcoming quest, which is linked to Felwinter and Rasputin. And of course we are also returning to Vostok there. But either way, roadmapped or otherwise, all of the remaining content that we know about this season does appear that it's going to be delivered between April 21st and May 19th, with May 19th being the supposed date of the reprise shotgun quest. So there will at least be a couple of new things to do for that month-long period. And of course at the end of that, we'll probably get some teasers which are relevant to the next seasonal drop. And all of that speculation is around Siva, which currently, based on what Bungie have shown and what we know is coming, is probably the single most likely theme for content in the next season. Otherwise, as Bungie even acknowledged, Rasputin gave us a warning about pyramids, and presumably that story is going to expand and start to make more sense later this year. Players have also pointed out the fact that Rasputin depicts Europa, amongst other moons in the system, on the map on the wall. And it has raised, once again, speculation about whether we could finally see a destination like Europa. And this is one that Bungie have had at least concepts for since before D1. But again, the big opportunity for anything like that will be the annual expansion. And as much as somewhere like the Plaguelands or any number of reprised locations from D1 would be pretty cool, I do think that after 2 years, it would be very much welcome to see a brand new large location added to the game. And something like Europa, a snowy location, would be very awesome, but we'll have to keep our fingers crossed and see what we get down the road. Now there were a couple of glitches to shout out. JB3 did point out on Reddit that you can walk through walls, doors, and pretty much anything else in the game by using the new finisher, Gladiator's Blade Rush. And funnily enough, this is a silver purchase from Tess, but now not only emotes, but also finishers are allowing players to breach through walls. So basically, in his video which I'll link below, you get an enemy to low health, activate a finisher, and tap crouch during the finisher, and this essentially allows your character to clip through walls and things like that, and you can only go a short distance through any given wall or anything, but obviously could be pretty interesting for getting out of bounds and exploring. I'll link JB3's video down below, but players have also pointed out that it's possible to use Hunter Dodge during the same finisher to essentially get thrown out of the map, as shared by Sabis here, so yet more funkiness is going on in the game. Right here though, finally, Cosmo responded to feedback from players that the visits to see Queen Mara Sov back in Forsaken were some of the best examples of both an evolving world and Bungie's famous "you had to be there" moments being done really well. And when players said that this was an example of Bungie doing it right, Cosmo replied, "This is a good example that we can point to. It was an ongoing character performance that wasn't static in the game forever, but players didn't mind it going away after it was finished." And safe to say, I think especially at the time, it was some of the most interesting kind of story delivery and an innovation on precisely how that can be done in the game, right? And Bungie should totally continue to look at that. We also had Invitations of the Nine, which was pretty neat too. But for more game updatey stuff, Bungie say finally that players being blacked out in rosters is an issue that is on track to be fixed in a patch later on this month. So that's definitely positive, but also they have pointed out once again that the team is working on multiple different error code issues. And in their recent update, they even provided a graph right here where you can see the kind of peak of those error codes and then them subsiding over time. I'm not sure if those are actually percentage based though and kind of account for player numbers and things like that adjusting over time, but nonetheless they're encouraging us that slowly they are bringing them under control. And it probably is a little bit of a technical challenge considering the way that Bungie are working at the moment, being from home and stuff like that. Despite anything else that's going on, it's safe to say that the current situation probably is not the easiest way to work for Bungie, but guys, I know at the moment things don't feel that fantastic when it comes to Destiny. It feels like there's a bit of a slope where the game just isn't hitting the mark in the way that we really expected to, and I've been seeing that feedback and we've kind of touched on it here and there, but in the next couple of days it's absolutely something that we're going to discuss further here on the channel. So once again, be sure to give us your thoughts and feedback down in the comment section, as that's always really insightful. But for now, if you've enjoyed the updates and conversation today, guys, a rating is very much appreciated down below. Once again, if you are new to the channel, feel free to hit that subscribe button, and you can turn on notifications if you feel like it as well, so that I can keep you posted on the world of D2. But otherwise for now, guys, thanks as always for tuning in, and whatever you get up to, I hope you have an awesome day.